I am Rakhi Bose, Assistant Editor with Outlook, and I bring to you excerpts from our latest issue, Women of the World Unite. In 33% shall not cloud over the 50%, Associate Professor from Jawaharlal Nehru University, Mr. Ajay Gudavarti, writes that the Women's Reservation Bill carries the ominous possibility of overshadowing all other forms of social demands. Women as an independent social and political constituency have been in the making in India for few decades now. Early recollections in post-independent India in the 1970s begin with public demonstrations by women against price rise. Women were on the streets carrying empty containers, thalis and belans. It was then asked, why is price rise an issue concerning only women, and the symbolism of carrying a belan reduced women's presence to the kitchen and the role of a homemaker. In the 1990s, they were once again on the streets in a big way, and this time much more aggressive and assertive for complete prohibition of liquor in the combined state of Andhra Pradesh. As part of this protest, women had not only foregrounded the public sanction for abusive husbands, but how domestic violence is sustained not just due to cultural attitudes alone, but also the entire structure of political economy. As part of the protests for prohibition of liquor, they exposed the unholy nexus between the legislators, police, liquor barons, and the local mafia. There was a somewhat uncanny but direct link between state repression and structural violence and the violations that take place behind the patriarchal walls of privacy. As part of this historic protest, women in the villages also declared their independence from their counterparts in the urban dwellings. They seemingly used violent methods of breaking open liquor shops and burning the country-made liquor that took the lives of their husbands, and was also the reason behind the growing medical bills and the pauperization that compelled them to pawn household items and personal belongings that were otherwise the symbols of femininity that needed protection. Women accosted trucks transporting liquor and got into physical scuffles to force them to turn back from their villages. At one point, state governments were forced to sell liquor in police stations and later introduce a novel system of home delivery in pouches. Trust our rulers for ingenious creativity with regard to devious issues. Many scholars also lauded the organizational structure of the protests as it was declared free of leadership and hierarchical structures. It was a leaderless protest that could not be contained by arresting a prominent leader, as it often happens with progressive left struggles. Every woman was both the leader and an organizer and understood precisely what was at stake. The anti-liquor movement succeeded in compelling the then Chief Minister N.T. Rama Rao to prohibit liquor and declare Andhra Pradesh a dry state. Of course, only for a couple of years before liquor was back in sale when Chandrababu Naidu took over the reins and reintroduced, under the ruse, the state was losing FDI because foreigners, when they came to the state to invest, had to be offered the choicest liquor. A gentle reminder that rulers too can be extremely concerned and compassionate. To read the full story and other stories from this issue, log on to www.outlook.com.